Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Academy World Semifinals. Today, former champions Cloud9 Academy will attempt a return to the finals up against 100 Thieves, who are having their best Academy season to date. I am Julian Pastry Time Car, bringing you today's series alongside Alberto Crumbs Rengifo.
They've had their best season up to date, but those are the best jerseys they've had too. The black and red for the playoff series. I'm loving it.
All right, well, yesterday, Golden Guardians claimed victory over the defending champions TSM Academy after a pretty close 4-game series.
Yeah, and a big factor for Golden Guardians was Darshan, who was up against auto-filled Grig in the top lane. However, TSM did start off the series with a commanding victory. And we thought that TSM had something up their sleeves, but it really was Golden Guardians that ended up taking the entire series with not just Darshan, but every single member stepping up. Palafox on your screen, but Kate and Olay in the bottom lane really stepped it up, especially in the last game.
Yeah, it feels like Golden Guardians, who were maybe projected to do fairly well in the season, given their changes, did exceptionally well, now finding their way in the finals, which of course means that our bracket is almost complete, with only today's match left between our Academy teams and the championship match. The Golden Guardians will compete for their first title up against the winner of Cloud9 Academy versus 100 Thieves. So with all that in mind, let's get ourselves acquainted with today's competitors. On the blue side for Game 1, it's Cloud9 Academy. In the top lane, Kumo. In the jungle, Blabber. Mid laner, Golden Glue. Bot and support, Deathly and Diamond. And their coach, Westrice.
And over on the red side, it's 100 Thieves Academy. You've got Someday in the top lane, Soligo in the mid, and then the jungle, Prismo and Stunt on bot and support, and their coach, Kelsey Moser.
Now, 100 Thieves Academy come into this semi-final match after a back-and-forth slugfest in the quarters, Crumbs. It went to 5.
But it wasn't just a Someday show like we expected. In fact, Anda was a very standout performer. He even got the MVP of this series, but bad news for him. You're now going up against Blabber, who might arguably be the best jungler we have in the Academy. He had a lot of time to play in the LCS team back and forth all series long, getting those pre-game yawns out. He's getting excited. He's relaxed, right? Getting the zone. And the mid lane matchup, as we know, ends up affecting the jungle matchup ends up affecting mid so much, and Soligo had a hard time going up against Yasui. The stats there, you can see the CS differential being a little bit below, but the forward percentage is really what I want to highlight, because he got out-pressured by Yasui. He had a really exceptional series for Echo Fox, and it felt like just a little bit more from Echo Fox, and they would have been able to be here instead of 100 Thieves Academy. With that being said, they had a rough week of practice. As we heard from them, they were a little bit under the weather. So hopefully 100 Thieves shored up everything that they've learned from that series and will now come into this match with a much better game plan.
I think you have to remember, though, that this was a team that we almost wrote off, a third of the way into the season. We're not doing well. The main team was struggling as well. It felt like 100 Thieves were just struggling to put it together. But they brought Someday down. They put FLICKR in to get Ryu back into the main team. And both teams had a very successful run in their respective leagues. For 100 Thieves, that run is still going now. And to potentially continue that momentum against a former Academy Worlds champion will be quite the feat indeed.
Yeah, really, in the last, I believe, 16 games, they are 13-3. So they're still in a very impressive record. And now we've gotten into Champion Select. Red side will be selected for 100 Thieves Academy. And that's going to end up resulting in someday perhaps having a counter pick. But so far, Cloud9 has already targeted their most successful combination of Elise and Aatrox.
Makes sense there. Also, Yuumi and Zaya on the 100 Academy side. Of note, 100 Thieves actually did 2-0 C9 Academy in the regular season, which for, again, the team that finished #1 doesn't happen that often. But of course, best of 5 is a very different beast, as Azir going to be taken away from Soligo. Makes sense. Do not want to give him a strong comfort meta champion.
But the junglers are not being targeted here. Sejuani might still be the pickup for Blabber and Karma as well. Something that we've seen that gets flexed to pretty much 3-4 roles if you want to count the bot lane and not the support.
Wow. So they actually ban Sejuani, leave up the Karma potentially, and C9 say we'd actually rather have a Kali here. And that, of course, gives 100 Thieves the ability to pick Karma if they want it, but with Sejuani gone, Silas, I mean, his stock in general relatively high. We will see where the Thieves land on their first few picks. Silas, though, will be locked in.
So the Akali can be a pretty good flex if you're going to be going up against Someday and you're expecting to be Dove in the top lane, because your Shroud does make it a lot harder for you to be easily picked on. So I can really see the value in this pick, but Golden Glue has shown some pretty serious games on the Kali, so it's something that both members are going to be comfortable with, and I think it's a good answer for a very fast and aggressive game as we've come to expect when Blabber plays.
Yeah, in general, Cloud9 Academy have been that team, I think in large part to how aggressive Blabber always wants to be from the jungle. But we're maybe going to slow things down here in bot lane, at least. Kai'Sa selected. We have seen this from Yusui, actually, in the last Best of 500 Academy played into something like a Corki. So there is that little bit of flexibility there if Soligo wants to take the Corki with the Azir ban. Rakano going to join it there for Diamond.
That's going to make the engage combination already starting to come out for Cloud9, but we need something next for Blabber. Jarvan and Gragas make a lot of sense. You can run the Yasuo as well, as we've seen this team. They love to pilot that combination, but I really think that 100 Thieves Academy now has a good opportunity to put Blabber on something that's not as strong as he usually takes, and hopefully weaken apart the Cloud9 engage and really just have it only be Diamond.
On the other side, have to think that Soligo may be going to be targeted here. We'll see, again, depending on where C9 want to put that Akali, but first ban's actually Kennen from 100 Thieves Academy, so to me that says mainly that they're expecting Akali to go mid, because they are banning away a top laner, but again, just a good pick in general, especially if you want to pick something a little less lane dominant in the top lane, although they already have Renekton, so yeah, never mind that.
He just doesn't want to be up against something that's going to potentially beat the Renekton early on. If you take the junglers out, Kennen's going to have an easy time in that lane.
Karma also falling all the way to phase 2 for bans, and Corki banned by 100 Thieves, actually. So.
Your dream, Corki and Azir are out.
Hey, there you go. I mean, we've started to see a lot of those champions start to eat a bit more bans, because again, you open up so much more for yourself. I think on the C9 side especially, if you believe that Golden Glue, who's likely the best mid laner left in playoffs with a Blaze Olive now exiting alongside TSM Academy, just give them something that he can express his skill in and really take over the lane, instead of just something that kind of splits them out.
Yeah, and even though you have now even more mid laners being banned, I do think that both these mid laners have shown they have a pretty wide champion pool. Soligo can always play the Syndra, as we know he has, and it would make a lot of sense here too, but the Sylas, you have to consider that it is a flex pick all the way till the very end, and as far as we know, Renekton is also a viable mid laner. You can put him in the mid lane too, so there's a lot that 100 Thieves can do.
We'll see what Cloud9 want to do with the rest of their draft. Kiana was an option, they will take it here. So double assassins in the solo lanes. He can play them in either spot as well. It actually does make Renekton a much more valuable pick. As Shen,
I think it's Kiana jungle, and Shen might go into the top lane as an answer to the Renekton.
No. Oh, I forgot about that. They do need a jungler. Well, we'll see what Cloud9 do want to settle on here. Hovering the Shen for now. Looks like they will swap up to Gragas. So looks like Gragas jungle, Kiana Akali for the solo lanes, and Kai'Sa and Rakan down in the bottom lane. But as I was mentioning, we have seen people pick Renekton into Kiana and be effective, so I wonder how much swapping these teams are willing to do to try and maybe avoid that matchup.
I think Renekton probably is going to be happy with that lane, and same with Kiana, just because she has Gragas on his side. So a very powerful early ganker, but up against a very powerful skirmisher in Andes Olaf. We're going to see how well can these junglers pilot, not just the 1v1 matchup, but affecting these very explosive silence. When you're running assassins, you need to be helping them push their lanes and get advantages, because if you get the 2v2 first, you win those first kills and it snowballs out of control. But on the flip side, you fall behind, it is disaster. There is not a lot of coming back when you have champions that are weak in wave clear and rely so much on getting kills, but happen to be behind in experience and gold.
And so much of Anders' success in that quarterfinal series did feel like he was just willing to play more aggressive picks and just take more resources and take more of the game into his own hands. I think he's continued that trend now, picking something like Olaf, which is a champion he has shown quite a lot of proficiency on. The only issue is that you're now playing against the most aggressive jungler in Academy, and arguably its best as well in Blabber. So certainly a tough matchup, but a very fun top half of the map for us to watch in general. I mean, Renekton and Sylas, which was the solo lane you called, whatever happens, there will be fireworks in the top half of the map.
And even in the bottom lane, you can't forget about the fact that both Braum and Rakan are capable of engaging just out of nowhere, and that does make for potentially a lot of action on the game that usually on game ones you see less action. It's more about testing the waters, but I think when we are here at semifinals and both these teams have been proven to be very willing to be aggressive early on. And with the draft, I mean, this is going to be a 30-minute game, really, for either side, because the snowball potential is huge. When you, again, remember that there is no wave queue. A big reason why so many games stall out is that you've got the likes of Sivir, you have Azir and Corki that just stall out waves in the mid lane forever, and it forces teams to find new ways to crack mid lane towers. But when you lack that, well, really, the first few kills translate to so much more.
Feels like a good temperature setter for our first game of this semi-final series. Only one other team can make it into the Academy Worlds final to play up against Golden Guardians. Will it be Cloud9 giving themselves another opportunity at winning a title here in Academy? Well, 100 Thieves make the finals for the first time ever in this league.
That would definitely be an upset if you consider the record of both teams, but the stat you mentioned really paints a very interesting picture for the series when 100 Thieves has only defeated Cloud9 Academy all split long. They've never actually lost to this team, so both teams have to have that in the back of their minds. 100 Thieves, the confidence to know they can do it, and Cloud9 Academy, knowing that you got to respect these opponents.
Well, when there's a Braum, there's almost always a level 1. 100 Thieves do move into the red side jungle to get vision down. Good anti-skill shot calibration, though, from the Cloud9 Academy. Bottom lane, both Deathly and Diamond did a nice job dodging potential stuns. There's the flash Q, though, from Stunt. Golden Glue going to be forced to flash out of there.
And that flash in the bottom lane might not go as punished as easily as the one in the mid lane. So now Golden Glue is going to be pretty unsatisfied not having his flash, trying to play an assassin that is also running Ignite, so that puts you in a really tough spot, and the invade continues, taking advantage of the Olaf power level.
And they're just going to take these Raptors down so quickly with the undertow to make matters worse for Golden Glue, who's forced to take W, actually, to try and avoid that. Switch, Kiana's early level's already not great, going to be even less effective now. So we'll see how the early levels of the matchup navigate, as Blabber is going to come down here and see the first bit of bad news and going to get the second in just a moment. It's level 2 for both, but one of them doesn't have a buff. Blabber going to get attacked now by Ander, gets the red buff already, now forced away. Complete domination in the early levels of the jungle.
He's going to now 3-buff Ander, and sorry, Blabber, and that is a little surprising that he actually opted to go back down to the red side jungle, thinking that he could get that buff because of the commitment that you saw the bottom lane of 100 Thieves go for.
So Ander going to power through the jungle now, pick up the blue and keep the pace going as far as clearing out goes. Blabber at least gets the Krugs, which are always a good camp to get done early on as a jungler and start to cycle. As bottom lane Diamond does get a good double knockout, back to Deathly, he dances. Dismal and Stunt though, not really taking much damage in the exchange.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy to abuse a Braum that has exhaust as well. So the bottom lane action is probably not going to go punish, as we said earlier, with the Braum trading his flash, but a little passive early game, and we have a really important first dragon that I think is one of the thing that's going to spark the fireworks. Ocean is a huge deal for both these teams, and Olaf is the one champion that can solo it very early on, whereas Blabber is not going to be able to go for that as the Gragas. So they'll need to make sure that they scout out Ander the entire time, and he's not allowed to sneak this dragon and actively win his lanes matchups without even ganking.
As you mentioned, Blabber is going to get 3 buffed here, and it will finally finish the third of those major buffs as he takes his own red. Blabber is at least going to get the scuttle here, as it does seem like Kumo's had a pretty good go of these early levels, both now at level 4. Slight CS lead there for Kumo on the Akali, but can never be feel too safe against a Renekton.
This Akali pick is going to continue to grow in priority for Cloud9. It makes so much sense when you're up against Someday. You have ticking time, but again,
good root. There's the knock-up as well there from Gragas. Now it looks to be a first blood on the table. Ignite down, flash auto, and it's Golden Glue that will grab it.
And that is so good for Cloud9. The fact that they were the ones that were down the flash in the mid lane and still able to find the lead. Let's see how it all played out, because it looks like Golden Glue had an HP advantage, but Soligo takes a poor timing to engage. It's locked up, and it's already down.
Yep, despite the aftershock, cannot live through that. Flash is burnt, but still the first kill over to Cloud9 Academy. And Serrated Jerk now finished for Golden Glue, going to make that matchup even more troublesome for the Silas. As Diamond and Deathly continue to try and push this lane up. Up about a wave right now on CS, as Sunday's diving in there, level 5. Straight onto Kumo, who's forced into the Shroud, but we'll pick up most of this wave. And keep the CS lead up for himself if he can grab most of them. And of those, cycling those Raptors on Blabber's side. Calling Soligo down to try and continue to pester the jungle here.
He's going to continue doing this because of the Dragon, right? He wants to see when does Blabber exit this red side jungle and say, I want to go top or I want to go elsewhere. The second he does that, the window to go for the Dragon solo is open. I think for now, he might just be waiting for the Scuttler to die before he can safely sneak in.
Well, for now, I can just go back and take whatever camps are there. No wolves right now, but we can go to the Gromp instead. I think just a missed time there on Ender. I think the camp was back up. Blabber, as far as I remember, was not around there. Looks like they will maybe catch a recall here. We'll at least move Diamond up to take the control ward out of the pit, so significantly less threat now from this all after solo the early ocean, as you mentioned.
That's a really big deny out of Cloud9, actually, being able to take down Anda's control ward because he doesn't have a timing to base and get the next control ward to make sure that the Dragon isn't warded. And by clearing out the Scryer's balloons, he also doesn't even have a way of checking safely whether there is more vision around. So taking advantage of the fact that Braum base to clear out Anda's vision means that this Dragon is probably not going to go down as quickly as we would have hoped.
Top lane still looking good there for Kumo, actually. Still up about a wave. Blabber back towards mid lane, but it's 3v2 this time around. Soligo going to get the first stun into Invis. He goes using that Q, but ulti stolen there by Gragas. Really nice cast there, but Soligo is going to force Golden Glue to flash. Goes back in, just gets a bit of poke, but has to keep dodging out the undertows as Diamond will roam up to try and help here.
We're starting to see what Soligo can do with this Sylas, and the Gragas ultimate is definitely a very powerful ultimate to continue to steal.
Diamond, though, trying to get a dive back in, now going to get stunned up by Soligo. Diamond needs to keep moving away from this Braum as the passive mounts up. It will be okay. Golden Glue stays just to make sure no dives can happen. And looks like mid lane action will dissipate as definitely in Prismal stuck in a 1v1. Doesn't seem that fair versus Sheen though, as Prismal already used that TP, and that pressure might be enough for 100 Thieves to move over to this ocean.
We have teleports in both top laners, and there is that ward in the back of the Blast Cone where Kumo can teleport. I think we're going to have our first 5v5.
Kiana also so deadly in the river, and they're going to be the first target. They're going to try and pick him up. They get him after the flash. Here comes Kumo diving into the backside with PE. Massive ult there from Golden Glue as Kumo looks to find the execution, dancing back in onto Soligo. And Cloud9 going to win that fight, but Sunday going to try and turn it back around. He blows up Golden Glue for the shutdown. Now a 4v5 for 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves is not going to give this up. They still have Someday here, and they have the movement speed from the Scuttler.
Don't have Smite though, but maybe they can find the fight instead. Diamond gets the first knockup, but that's a kill. There for Prism, we're going to take down Diamond. Soligo gets the next on the Blabber. Kumo and definitely forced out of there as Akali Shuriken flips over the wall following the flash. So Drake over to Cloud9 Academy, but it did cost them quite a lot.
Ooh, but Someday really saved that play, and we see that 100 Thieves is trying to solo this out, but they are not first to the punch, and they soloed out by death. He practically dies here all right away, and then I really just don't understand that flash. That was not a good move, and then you check out what Someday has to do, because they've already lost 2 key members. He goes in, not only does he get Golden Glue right away, he chunks out the rest of the team, and while Cloud9 greets out, he gets to reposition and then go for the cleanup. The big thing there was the Scuttler. The fact that Cloud9 commits to getting inside the pit opens up the possibility for 100 Thieves to get on in there and really clean up a few more kills, punishing that early Ocean Dragon.
Yep, nice aggression there from 100 Thieves on the back end of the play to keep the gold slightly ahead for themselves, up about 600 or so after that play. Well, we'll see how the lanes continue to develop with this Ocean now in the hands of Cloud9. Already see that Sunday maybe feeling a bit better now with that Hex Drinker finish. Can fight Kumo a little bit more actively in this lane.
That is actually the only lane that we're really going to see affected from the result of that fight, because everybody else really just 1 kill, a few assists, not a big deal, whereas Sunday just picked up 2 assists and a kill, contrasted to Kumo only having 1 assist, and that is already not only a level lead, but it's going to end up becoming an even bigger itemization lead when Someday gets to complete his first item before the Gunblade of Kumo.
Yeah, just the Cutlass right now for Kumo, which does help in the lane, but again, not really looking to straight up kill this Renekton right now. Soligo also with an arm guard in mid means that he can fend off significantly more of Golden Glue's potential pressure. And that just leaves us back in bottom lane. Definitely seems to still be off to a good start here. Someday tries to dive in onto Kumo, but again, every little engage that doesn't quite connect means you continually eat Qs. So you can kind of see the delicateness of this matchup, I suppose.
Well, it's so much harder now for 100 Thieves to gank the Akali with the ultimate too, and Olaf doesn't really have any good crowd control to be able to lock down that champion, so she can always get away and dash out, whereas Blabber has way more opportunities because of the setup that everyone of his lane has. So even though Kumo is overextended and you'd like him to be punished, but he's playing this to the edge of Akali. This is why this was first picked.
Yep, nice shroud again. Just can't click on her. That's the problem, is Kumo. Continue to try and get the wave pushed up. Gonna actually move around to ward, maybe, at least checking for Ander here around the entrances. Cloud9, though, doing a nice job of warding up most of the river now in mid lane. No one to Golden Glue. Steals supreme display of talent there for Soligo. Curious how much counter practice he has. That ult is not easy to use if you've never used it before.
Yeah, because you think on abilities like terrain, you think, oh yeah, I know exactly what to expect, but there is timing.
Oh, all in time. Golden Glue is gonna take him out.
Ooh, Soligo really not respecting the fact that Blabber showed and was still around, really trying to make the most of his time. He had already committed the Predator too, so 2 times Soligo gets punished by Blabber in the mid lane, and that just leaves Anda exposed and catching minion waves.
Yeah, have to always think that if they know where your jungler is, their jungler's probably coming too. So a timely counter gank there for Blabber. Does give a kill over to Golden Glue, actually now up to 3 kills in this game. Been involved in almost every kill that Cloud9 Academy have, as plates being taken here in the bot side for the C9 duo. Definitely actually doing a really stellar job in this 2v2, up about 20 CS so far.
Yeah, he is starting to stack up that tier as well, so both bottom laners will be going for the same build, or at least the start of it.
Such an interesting top lane matchup, actually. Somebody doing a nice job building up Fury, using the Qs, so Akali Shroud doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if you can't see her, you can still do damage, but again, the fleet footwork kind of working overtime there for Someday. Keep monitoring that one, although again, nice and even. Bodes well for Cloud9 Academy as Soligo tries to get tricky.
Maybe it was running out.
I'm sure
I think it was running out.
Only hold it for a minute now as Blabber back to his old tricks in top lane. Kumo ready with the ulti. Execute is up and ready to go, and there it is. Lets it rip. I think he missed though. Is that last Q not going to get hit? And Someday going to get out of there somehow. Kumo going to be not so lucky. Flashing into the brush, pop by the undertow. Ragnarok uses Anda strikes him down.
The timing was actually beautiful for Cloud9 because Someday's flash was just barely available at the very tail end of that play. So he was almost guaranteed to go down. Missed it by a hair. And Anda was there for the counter gank. We really have had a battle of both junglers being at the same place, same time. And so far, while Blabber has been getting the best of it, Anda just claimed his first one.
Very curious to see what happened there, because either Hexdrinker Shield dramatically overperformed my expectations, I think Kumo may have just been a little shy. We'll hold that thought though, with Anda continuing the play here in topside now, looking for the Rift Herald. Stunt finds that Q onto Blabber, who will clear out the vision, but again, no Herald luck there for Cloud9 as 100 Thieves able to get that objective for themselves.
They have only 40 seconds to use that before they lose plates, and looks like Anda's committing to go to the top side. Can't blame him. Someday has done a really good job in making the most out of that gold, and yep, he's gonna go pop that plate. Let's see what Cloud9 answers.
Certainly seen this one before. Someday in onto Kumo, pops the Shroud. Q dances around his stunt as well. Maybe a push through here for 100 Thieves to maybe look for a second. Kumo going to try and clear the wave ASAP. Gets a bit of damage there onto Someday, but Shelly gets the charge out. Plate gold does go over, but no tower collected there for 100 Thieves.
And now Someday has Maw as his first item, putting him in a really, really tanky position up against 2 magic damage dealers in Kumo and Blabber. But on to the next remaining objective. Second Ocean Drift is about to come up, and I think both these teams, even though the laning phase is about to be over, they're still going to fight for it, as we see everybody is making their ways down here to secure vision.
And onto Blabber with the help of Stunt. Good flash Q into the Glacial Fissure. Blabber with the counter ulti as Prismal gets in, finds the stun, and that should be a kill time, and able to get the kill in mid lane in the meantime. But there is Blabber going down to Prismal. He's definitely going to try and answer Cloud9. Still fancying themselves a 3v3 here.
get plays on two sides of the map, and while the one on Blabber was really cool from Stunt engaging on that, we barely got to see what happened between Golden Glue and Diamond, because I see that Soligo still has his flash. Maybe there was an opportunity to actually get out of that one, and had he stayed alive, that would have 100% yielded 100 Thieves the Ocean Dragon that they were much, much interested in.
Continue to see how top lane pans out. It does seem like neither team wants to go straight for the Drake at this moment. There is gold to spend in the top half as well, but let's watch this one again.
So we've seen the bottom one. It is and then Stunt against Blabber. Stunt does a really nice job here, but on the top side, just 100% CC from Soligo. No chance to get out of that one. And he might be starting to consider purchasing some Merc Treads at this stage, because that is not the first time it has happened.
I think excellent placement of the W as well by Diamond. Just kind of put it on the edge, so if he flash, I think maybe he still gets caught. But regardless, good CC chain by Cloud9 Academy, gives Golden Glue yet another kill. And he is starting to snowball here for the Cloud9 side, although Thieves, again, still keeping that gold nice and even, have plenty of threats of their own. It's actually Prismal that's picked up most of those kills. But Drake number 2 does go over to Cloud9. 100 Thieves cannot get into the pit to try and contest.
They did such a good job in keeping out the vision for 100 Thieves, so they had to concede, and instead, even though they do get this tower, the fact that they've given up 2 Ocean Drakes is a pretty big deal. That does allow Cloud9 to stay out on the map for quite some time, continuing to look for plays, whereas 100 Thieves is more of a make it happen and then you got a base.
Kumo trying something here, but we can see Anders in the area. Blabber also. So both top laners will know that the junglers are ready for a potential 2v2. Sunday's ult gonna get him nice and healthy here, and that Gromp steal will be successful, and are continuing to pester Blabber and the rest of Cloud9 Academy in their own jungle.
He has to. He's playing AD Olaf. If it's not going well for him, he's not going to scale well into the game. He's going to get melted, especially by champions like Deathly, who were running Kai'Sa that just shred when you're just stacking flat HP. And now we see the build is starting to reflect the fact that he has not snowballed as much as he would have liked, going for that Hexbreaker, trying to stay alive, topping after his boy Someday in the top lane.
They're going to have to delay Black Cleaver for a little while longer. But Someday at least got a lot of selfish bonus gold by taking the top outer turret. You can see his individual gold lead, very nice, almost up to 2,000 ahead of Kumo. That's despite how even the farm has been throughout all of the laning phase.
That's that plate combination that served this Crocodile very well. It would be really nice to play lanes that you just have somebody continuing to donate gold to you. And it does come with the big responsibility of having to carry later in the game. So we'll see what Someday can do with Renekton, because he's changed up this build. We usually see him go for either a Black Cleaver or the Spear of Sojin first. Not so much the Maw of Malmortius, which is a very situational opportunity to go for it, but I do think it is the right call here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, makes sense versus their top laner and jungler, as teams are just kind of jostling for position. Certainly the Thieves can't feel too bad that Sunday's in a position to carry. He has done it all season long for this squad ever since he joined around week 3 or 4, I think it was.
I don't remember, but the scoreline remembers.
Yeah, the scoreline definitely remembers. Those 10 games in a row they won, yeah, a lot of that was on Sunday's shoulders, that's for sure. Looks like left side Scuttle Crabs going to be taken out. Diamond continuing to pair up with Blabber wherever he can, and definitely actually has finished that Ginsu's Rage Blade. So both marksmen now ready with their 2 items, although Prismal and Deathly both still looking for that transform. Deathly gets tagged. Q gonna hit. Supercharger not quite enough distance. Dodges down from the axe. Cloud9 collapse here. Diamond maybe gonna find the angle. Doesn't want to go too aggressively with the tower still up in the mid lane.
We are now entering the 1-3-1 phase of both these compositions, with the solo laners now being in top and bottom respectively. That should favor 100 Thieves right now, having a lot of poke from their bottom lane. Both Braum and Ezreal are pretty good in this situation, so we'll see what they can do, as they're already looking to take down Deathly in the previous engage.
Yeah, Ander is just unrelenting aggression at this point on the Olaf. As you kind of mentioned, Crumbs, you need to be when you're going AD Olaf. Certainly is on you to start some things. Someday continuing to play up into Kumo as well, who's certainly relinquished some of his individual control in the 1v1.
He just wants to team fight. He's never going to kill Renekton, right? Against the build.
Yeah, I think at this point...
You've got your eye set on Prismal. Can he take down Prismal in the fight? That's really the order of...
Diamond looking for Ragnarok, does get it.
Yeah, that's not the target they can really pop that quickly. They do need a little bit more oomph behind them, but they might have felt stronger having definitely completed his Mirror Mana already, and Prismal just did so a few seconds ago too, so both the ADs continue to get stronger, but I'm very interested in these 1-3-1 lanes where the solo laners now are getting pushed in. On the flip side, you've got Golden Glue winning top, but Someday is continuing to shove in Kumo, so there is a point of pressure for 100 Thieves here in this setup. And
looks like he will skip Black Cleaver at least for now. That should be Spear of Trojan second, unless he really wants a Guardian Angel early on, but it's a huge increase in Renekton's individual power in both team fights and 1v1. So despite how well Kumo has played a lot of this lane, tough to hold off the Crocodile at this point, especially when Ander comes down and this always seems to be behind the top laner.
You got every point holding off Crocodiles is a hard thing.
And it does not have Ragnarok. Could be a kill. That is one for Blabber. Prismal going over, but maybe now on the firing line.
Really good timing from Blabber to catch out the Olaf. Ultimate was about to come up, but it was at the same time that the third dragon of the game had just spawned. So Cloud9 with superior dragon control, but now the real big dragon is going to come online with a mountain coming up in 5 minutes. That's going to allow the more dives.
Gotta go looking for the dive. Prismal into the wall, still gets stunned. Beautiful pick as Kumo completes it with his ulti. Someday here to try and defend. Definitely going to be the target. Soligo TP's in. Goodbye, definitely. Cloud9 find the dive and have to trade a kill over.
That is a good trade by Someday because there was a spree on Deathly that they're able to shut down. So a good heads-up play there by them. Cloud9 will be able to stay here. They do have the double ocean that does allow them to regen and maybe look for another fight if they really have it in them, but instead they will just go back to lanes knowing that Golden Glue can continue to shove top and that there's nobody from 100 Thieves that will be catching that wave.
Kumo thought saw Someday, but is going to stick mid lane. For now, so we'll watch this one again. Aggressive in Cloud9, but certainly very well executed.
Yeah, a good flash out of him, but it also finds the root at the exact same time. And I'm not sure if Prismal actually ended up getting stunned right after the ultimate display of talent. But he was still locked down.
Yeah, I think
that is the name. Ultimate
Supreme display of talent.
Supreme.
I think it wrapped around the turret. Kiana's ult's really interesting to try and watch because again, such a unique ultimate. I think it hit him around the tower as Golden Glue's Q followed him after EQ, but it's fine. We can speculate later. They did the right thing. They got the kill, even though they had to commit between two turrets for it.
They didn't get the tower, and Golden Glue does not have flash. He's cut out.
What a fissure there from Stunt as Diamond forced to ulti and run away. Golden Glue maybe not so lucky. Great ult. But Ragnarok through there for Ander means they will keep chasing. Q-Tag is good. Soligo still had a Kali ultimate ready to go, and Prismal going to find that final kill.
Oh, he lived a lot longer there than I thought he would, being very slippery with both the stealth and his constant dashes, so good on him to buy so much time for the team.
Still down though, so Prismal will continue to actually accrue gold here for 100 Thieves. We have talked at length about Someday, but Prismal will also set up to really carry through this game. He's gotten 3 kills given over now. He had a shutdown before he got killed in the last exchange under the tower. And building in towards that Blade of the Ruined King, or the Hextech Gunblade very quickly. Means that Prismal, who's had a pretty good playoff so far, could have a start of a very promising series.
He's one of the best ADs you'd want to have in this stage against double assassin. The guy that builds Frozen Fist is typically one that you'd want to have at this stage. And when you also have Stunt locking in the Braum, you prevent so much of Blabber's playmaking abilities. Because you can block his ultimate, you make sure that you're never getting Ezreal punted into the team after he gets dove in by Golden Glue or Kumo. So if Stunt and Prismal are playing, covering their bases, understanding what are the biggest threats to them, they should not be easy to pick off for Cloud9, even though they have something that you would seem, or you would hope that would eliminate carries whenever they want.
I mean, you saw how hard they had to commit to that turret just to get 1 kill. Certainly watch Cloud9's execution The game continues on, but even though it's been quite a back and forth affair, 15 kills already in about 25 minutes, game has stayed very close. In fact, we're dead even in gold. Cloud9 Academy with the Drake advantage is nice as Golden Glue gonna look for an engage here. Wall finds stun only, but the knockback from Blabber doesn't quite get through the door. So Liga now with his own ulti, but there's Diamond back in with the recombo trying to find a pick off, but gonna have to back away as the rest of the Thieves coming in towards the top lane.
That's exactly what I was highlighting. Braum against Gragas is a very tricky matchup. It's almost impossible for you to try to wait out the Unbreakable to look for the opportunity to chuck that ultimate. You usually, if he pops it up, you either have to flash behind him or you have to get super creative with an angle or look for somebody else.
Also see Kumo willing to get aggressive there in his 1v1 versus Someday, but with the Shojin complete, with that more of Malmortius there, even though Kumo does have Morello, which will help in his quest to kill Renekton, I don't think he's got enough Qs in the back pocket to slay the Crocodile. Golden Glue continues to harass Soligo here.
That was close. I think if Soligo actually connects that, Stunt would have continued to chase that. Having mobility boots and no tower as a tier 1 might have been all that 100 Thieves needed to make that play happen. We've got 20 seconds until this next Mountain Dragon. Let's see how these teams prioritize it, because none of them can go straight to the Baron right away. Only if Deathly is in that location can Cloud9 make this play. So instead, committing for the Mountain is going to be a much, much wiser option, as it'll allow you to go for Mountains that will come up next, or more Barons.
Yeah, Cloud9 Academy started on spawn. 100 Thieves are ready now with everyone alive to try and contest for this. Gonna get the Drake by the looks of things, but do they get out safely? Smite down, ulti stolen there from Kumo. Blabber going in alongside Diamond, trying to find the charm on the backside. Stun dead instantly. And now they'll keep chasing in. Definitely dodges the Kali with Killer Instinct, but Soligo diving back in, able to get something out of it. Prismal's still alive. Golden Glue gonna die as well. It's only Deathly that's left. Can he win this 1v2?
100 Thieves won that fight. They actually only lost 3 members, whereas Cloud9 almost got aced here. They're gonna be able to shove down the mid lane tower, and that's a huge, huge victory for them. Now Prismal is 6-1 and 2. This Ezreal is so strong.
Yeah, again, we talked about Prismal being setting up to carry. Well, he is in that position now to drive 100 Thieves forward to the Nexus. I mean, definitely did well to not die in that fight, but let's watch this again. 100 Thieves with a counter engage.
So they make it really late here, and Blabber is trying to get a really cool ultimate here, but it doesn't really catch anybody. The Ezreal had gone out, and so the quickness and the knockup completely whiff for Cloud9, and you think this looks really good for them regardless, but Prismal gets to join the fight. They do so much between him and Someday, and in the back lane, Soligo is out there doing damage. It was so spread out everywhere, but the fact that so much was whiffed from C9 makes it a lot harder for them to clean up house, whereas you've got a little bit more mobility in the Ezreal that allows him to just pick whichever fight he would like.
And as you mentioned, it's really tough to pick off Ezreal against this team comp, especially with Stunt often behind him. But they have to. If you can't kill this Ezreal, team fights are going to be very difficult for you to win.
It's also why he goes with the cooldown reduction boost. You might have seen Ezreal's go for the Sorcerer shoes, trying to maximize the damage, but it's not that big of a difference when it comes to the damage when you can just spam more abilities and more ease, more arcane shifts, really letting you to either be aggressive, hit a few spells, and then be able to shift back out is a really interesting play pattern out of Ezreal's, contrasted by the traditional build that doesn't have that, where you E forward and you just die.
Very different play style. A day has passed. Fight again. Diamond finds 2 with the charm. Backside there, they're going to get the wraparound through the Baron Pit, but Soligo with a nicely timed stasis is going to get out of there. Stun finds Golden Glue, and 100 Thieves still on the assault. Soligo goes down to Blabber, but the re-engage still continues. 100 Thieves trying to fight Kumo, looking for that big ulti. Gets stunned there with a perfect execution, but definitely locked off and slain by Someday. Diamond, though, still alive, dancing back towards Prismal. Finally, they take down the Ezreal, but Someday gonna be the biggest croc at the end of the day. Finds the shutdown, and again, 100 Thieves win the fight.
100 Thieves is actually doing so well in these team fights, and Cloud9 continue to struggle with dealing with just how beefy the front line is. Between Anda and Someday, they don't have enough burst, and they're not willing to commit their entire burst kits, because if they do, they don't have anything left for taking down Prismal. So we look at how the fight started off. The quickness does land, and even though Soligo almost dies right away, the zone just buys enough time, and once again, Stunt blocks the cast. That's a big, big play out of him. Kumo just barely finds a way to make it, but man, Someday was just so huge here at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, Kumo did a lot of damage to Prismal to let Simon finish this off, but Someday just had enough cooldowns left in the tank. Kali doesn't get away that time. And we might have another fight on our hands. C9 has been incredibly willing to take these fights.
Well, they're never engaging on the Ezreal or on a little easier to kill members, but there's a Zhonya's and Soligo now, which makes him once again very tricky to go after. So there's not a lot of places for Cloud9 to find the picks that they would really like to have, meaning that they're not taking the fights that are ideal for them. That's what we know this team is really good at, being able to take whichever fights really benefit them the most. But with the tools that this composition has against 100 Thieves, it's gotten harder and harder as the game has progressed.
And you can see why all this attention is being paid to fighting around this area. Baron is very much a game-breaking objective, and neither team has taken it at all in this series so far. Cloud9 Academy a little less space to work with. There are 2 towers now down in mid for 100 Thieves, giving them the structure advantage 3-1, but this may just be a straight-up fourth by Cloud9.
And that has no flash. There is a blast cone, but a fight is ensuing. Teleport's committed.
They get the TP out of Soligo. Do they look for the fight? Stunt again, going to block things in the front side of the map, just preventing so much damage as the ulti from Golden Glue can't quite connect. And Kumo, he dove in to try and kill Prismal, but Soligo again into status, going to give Prismal a double kill, maybe make it 3 as definitely dies to Anda, and 100 Thieves this time win a clean fight.
And it's the 4th time that Stunt blocks Blabber's ultimate. This continues to happen, and it's really hurting Cloud9 in these team fights. Even though they're able to find a lot of damage right away, the beefy guys come in at the very end, and Kumo, oh, wow, another one.
Soligo with a smile on his face, Prismal with a very sneaky snipe onto Blabber.
So they forced this play, and they had the option of getting out, but wait, there's more action.
Make it 11. That's an ace now for 100 Thieves. Prismal's popping off in this game.
Ooh, this Ezreal is just so fed at this point. And the reason why Baron is just such an important objective, both these teams won a 1-3-1, but none of them have good wave clear. So the payoff from succeeding, taking the Baron and then pushing is just so big. Now they're going to go for an inhibitor. They're sure to get it here.
Yeah, that mid-inhib's dead. Cloud9 Academy, thankful that they're respawning now because the game might end otherwise. The death timers are a little bit longer. Soligo also doing work in the bottom lane, does get the outer turret there, and will look to take the tier 2 pretty quickly as well. But Prismal going to take it back, maybe has almost his last item done. He's going to sell that control ward, TP back in, buy a full-on Zhonya's, and my goodness, this Ezreal is ready to fight.
You cannot catch him. That is a full build already, 1 item ahead of the Kai'Sa. And going with the AP poke build means that the assassins have a really hard time committing to a fight if they get hit by any one of these spells.
Prismal again. Sweepers denying what vision they can. Cloud9 trying to put defensive control wards down just so they can see where Prismal is shooting from, but onto the turret he goes now. Going to weave those autos in alongside the Baroned up minions. In fact, not even bothering right now. They know that the turret will be an inevitability as long as they can land the poke and keep Cloud9 back. Cloud9 might have to make a desperate play soon.
Look at Anda, he's just body blocked. He doesn't want Golden Glue or Kumo to find an angle, even though Cloud9 is looking for it. Prismal did such a good job. He chunked out Blabber, big engage to her for C9. Now they can't engage, looking for the kill.
They did it again! Walking back to the fountain and Blabber dies. That looks to be game now for 100 Thieves. They're just going to collapse onto these Nexus towers. Golden Glue going to try and find an angle, but the towers are just melting. Soligo still with the Gragas ulti as well. They're going to go. They have to try and find the kill. Kumo dives in. Prismal into stasis he goes as They try and get the dive down. They will get the shutdown onto Prismal, but I don't think they can last the rest of the fight. They'll chase Cloud9 out of their base. Don't even need the Ezreal to polish off the game. And 100 Thieves gonna claim the first Nexus here in their semi-final.
Wow, what a statement game out of them, because it wasn't just Someday and it wasn't just Anda like we highlighted. The bottom lane stepped up so much. It's hard to say that it really wasn't the Ezreal hard carrying these games. With so many kills, he just had a game that makes you wonder, do you need to ban the Ezreal now?
And I'm getting smacked around in CS in that lane. I mean, definitely had a massive lead after that laning phase. But the team fights, 100 Thieves, just out-team fought Cloud9 Academy, who have some of the most experience in 5v5s. I mean, Cloud9 started just about every single fight, and every time 100 Thieves either equaled them or outplayed them.
It was the ease of execution. It's so much harder for you when you have a AP Gragas that has to find an angle against a Braum, but he can't even live through one stun. He gets stunned one time, he gets popped right away. So it makes it so tricky for Cloud9 to find an engagement. When their assassins did not get to snowball successfully, the dives just get so hard.
Yeah, I mean, even Someday acting as a frontliner. We'll take a look actually at some of the replays. 100 Thieves winning their fight here after the Dragon is taken. Again, Cloud9 had every single Drake in this game, but the team fights they were not so lucky in.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves was really late to this objective. They really, both teams could have just not opted into this fight. But you can see that while Cloud9 is in a good position to deal a lot of damage, the beefy boys in the front and their AoE damage do so much attention soaking that by the time the Prismal gets there, everything else is just cleanup.
Yeah, Prismal wraps back around, able to get the rest of that fight and win the first team fight there for 100 Thieves. And we'll take a look now at their next replay as 100 Thieves TP into the fight at Baron, but this time it's Prismal popping off for the ace.
Cloud9 was greedy and desperate, going for the Baron at this time. And even though the quickness does connect on stun, the knockup, nothing else. So no other crowd control is used on the 100 Thieves members, which makes it so easy for them to continue forward. Remember, you're tanking the Baron, you get your magic resistance lowered as well. It gets so hard for you to stand in there and take a fight right away when you don't have anybody that can really stand up to the poke or the burst of Olaf and Renekton.
It's when you check the rare damage taken as what an ult there. Blabber just losing a quarter of his HP.
It's the AP Ezreal has the Luden's proc as well. So,
oh, and it wasn't over. Diamond trying to take a ward. Prismal just says, absolutely not in my house. And gets that's a cross-map ace after that Baron from Prismal.
right? Single-handedly went for that one.
All right, well, you can see the story of that game told in that very colorful-looking gold graph. Things were going great for a little bit. They had a lead, and then, my goodness, it just fell straight off the cliff.
Yeah, and I think Cloud9 had a pretty good lead in the mid lane as well, right?
Yeah.
Ego was down, I think 0-2, 0-3 at
Golden
one
Blue
point.
had all the kills, definitely had a CS lead. Cloud9 had all the Drakes. Like, this was not a bad showing from Cloud9 Academy. It's just whenever they tried to get to the mid game and start team fights, 100 Thieves just did it better.
Yeah, your assassin composition did struggle finding the plays when you had every single member so difficult to burst down. You really don't have a good target to go after when you have a Braum, the Renekton and Olaf that you're never going to look at, and then suddenly Silas, who's really strong and surprisingly tanking, can actually duel you, and then an Ezreal that is so fed with armor as well. So it was a really nice draft to the response that Cloud9 did, and an even better execution.
Yeah, you certainly don't expect, these bruisers or these mages or these fighters to be tanks. But in the world of assassins, the man with the armor and Emma is king.
Exactly.
And that certainly was Someday and Soligo.
Man, I am really excited for this series because this is not how I expected Game 1 to go at all. 100 Thieves was the third seed and struggled against last seed Echo Fox. Goes to Game 5. Cloud9 picks them thinking they are the weaker team out of the remaining pool. I think we're having an easier time. But boy, they need to change things up because that Game 1 definitely is going to be a reality check.
And I think how well 100 Thieves absorbed the pressure was the most impressive thing to me because Cloud9, they picked aggressive lanes. Blabber's always going to play aggressively, but they just let the laning phase happen, got to the mid-game, felt confident in their 5v5, and was certainly rewarded for it. 100 Thieves jump out to a lead in this series, but Cloud9 will have an opportunity to bounce back in Game 2. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
I've never seen us lose 5 Game 1s in a row. We've only lost 4 game once.
No one beats C9A 3 times in a row.
I won all my BO ones.
Ooh,
What a gank
good
it did.
route. There's the knock-up as well there from Gragas. Now it looks to be a first blood on the table. Ignite down, flash auto, and it's Golden Glue that will grab it.
Prizzle. Flash, flash.
I can't go.
Nice shot, kill him. He's dead.
Flat. I'm moving left.
Has flash.
Okay.
Flabber going in alongside Diamond trying to find the charm on the backside. Stunned dead instantly.
Kali. I got it. We win.
Go.
Kill everybody. My Penta.
No.
Kaisa.
Okay, nice.